Hello and welcome to another video of the IT Career Guide YouTube channel. In today's video I want to talk about the job search and what you have to be aware of when you go and enter the market. And this applies to when you switch between companies, you're already in information technology, or when you're trying to make that move into information technology. So job search in general sometimes can be just really quick. And sometimes it takes quite a while, and there are several reasons for it. So one could be that you are a very picky chooser of where you want to work, and that's one item I will highlight in this video. So let's look at this from the perspective you want to get into IT. And you worked in a completely different career, you have not had any experience working in IT, and so for you it's a complete career change. Naturally, you can expect that this type of job search will take significantly longer. Let's assume you have a couple of IT certifications under your belt. You've done a little work on the side here and there, but nothing official. So now you're trying to land a help desk job as an example. So you start sending out resumes. You need to get several things lined up. So first of all, you need to convince the recruiter or talent acquisition, the HR person, that you are a good candidate and that they pass your resume on to the hiring manager. Then when you talk to HR and you convince them and you are able to get in front of that hiring manager, that's the next person that you need to convince that you have what it takes to work in IT. And these type of conversations take time. So a very critical and important factor here is really, it takes time to get in front of HR, and then you need to have the right verbiage and the right convincing factor available really to make sure that your resume makes it to the hiring manager. I think when you are at the hiring manager, it's usually fair game. It's probably a 50-50, maybe a 60-40 type of situation, and I think you have a fair shot when you make it that far. So, but getting in front of HR, the talent acquisition, the recruiter, that's really the challenging part. And it starts with writing a resume and a cover letter that are convincing. First of all, you need to really customize the cover letter and the resume for each individual application. And then you need to have patience. It's really a numbers game in the end. So I tell you how it worked out for me, and this goes back many years ago, so it might be slightly different today. And today you can play with higher numbers in regards to that it's much faster to send out a resume. So when I broke into IT, I had started with getting an IT certification. I became a Microsoft certified professional. Then I started working on my second certification and I started sending out resumes. And it took about, I want to say, 5 months for me to really get into that position where I was really close to land my very first job in IT. So in the end, it was pretty much roughly 6 months after my journey started with passing that certification that I received my first job offer. And it was kind of funny. I actually received 3 job offers in a 2-week period. And I was able to choose the right company in what turned out to be later on for me the best choice, at least from what I can tell. So think about it, 6 months. This was back when job ads were mostly in the newspaper, the Sunday newspaper, a little bit online, but usually you had to fax, sometimes even mail your resume into the company to be considered. There was not much information available other than, oh, this is a sample cover letter, this is a sample resume. But there was no talk about customizing it, so that's very important. So just think about it, how long that probably would take compared to today, where you can have a soft copy of your resume ready, you make some quick changes, and then you upload it into the application website and off it goes. With a little work and effort, you can probably send out 4 or 5 resumes and cover letters within an hour. And the number game is really different today. When I moved from a hands-on position, from being an individual contributor to become an IT manager, over a period of, I want to say, about 2 years, I probably sent out about 160 resumes. So this was really just a few years ago. So from 2015 into late 2016 until I landed my first official job as an IT manager. I was an IT lead before I managed a small team, but I was still an individual contributor to a certain degree. So 160. What I did during that job search was really tweaking the application process, tweaking how quickly I can send out resumes, building a system. And that really helped me to then send out this high number of resumes and cover letters. That was a long planned journey for me. I was very picky, and there was a lot of experimenting. Today, when you really try to break into IT and you put a lot of focus on it, I would say, we'll leave the pandemic aside for the moment, I would say somewhere between 3 and 6 months is what you probably can realistically look at to find your first job in a help desk position, call center, on-site, whatever it may be, or for a managed services provider where you do different type of work. And really, I would say the first 2 or 3 weeks, you will not get any responses when you start sending out resumes. You need to build your system. So think about a folder structure where you save the files, how you name them. You should save the job description so that you can go back to it. Sometimes companies come back months later and they're still looking at your resume. Maybe the previous candidate didn't work out. And then it's difficult to find the job description. So always save the job description with the resume, with the cover letter. You want to have copies of each so that you can go back and really check, okay, what did I write in my resume? What did I write in my cover letter? So I would say probably 3 to 6 months if you put a lot of effort and focus in. At the same time, if you come from a different job, you have to juggle around with making phone calls, going to job interviews, be it virtual or in person. So all these things can slow you down. You might have to use your vacation time, or you take sick time, or whatever it is. Often companies work with you so that you can take a phone call at specific times. They reach out via email, you negotiate a window, and then you talk. So that takes time. It's just not a fast-moving process. Even when a company decides on you and they want to make you an offer, it sometimes can take several weeks just to get that offer letter. And then you have to resign. There's another 2 or 3 week period, depending on if you want to take some time off in between. Do not just resign and leave the next day. So that leaves a bad taste. You don't want to burn any bridges when you leave. So you need to really think about, okay, it takes 2 weeks. If you, let's say you have the job offer 2 weeks and then you count backwards. And it will work out to probably 3 to 6 months. The other thing that is important, be very picky with the job that you pick. You are also interviewing that company. Because think about it, you spend almost more time working and with your peers and your manager compared to the time you spend with your family during the week. So you want to make sure you like the people, you like the work environment. Everything has to be as close as possible where you feel like, no, this is the right place. I feel comfortable working here. If you have people that you don't like, you will hate your job over time, and then you become really stressed. It turns maybe even into a toxic environment, and you become sick, and you're just not happy. So you have to pick your job carefully. So I've declined many job offers over the years simply because I didn't like the company or I didn't like the person. I applied for one company, and almost the last question that the hiring manager asked me, and I was applying for an IT manager position, do you have any problems with laying off people? That was a question I was asked. And for me, that was like a red flag. It's just like, I'm trying to join. I hope there's growth. Hopefully we're not talking about terminating people here very often. That it happens as part of being an IT manager, absolutely, no problem. But if I get asked that question, something was fishy to me, and I found out 2 years later actually that the red flag that I experienced was actually correct. So you want to interview those people and really make sure that when you sign that contract that you like working there. Of course, there's never a guarantee, but in general, do your homework, read the reviews on Glassdoor, take those with a grain of salt, but it gives you eventually a hint, or maybe you can ask questions based on what you see there. So that's really it for today. I just want to showcase how long it can take, that you want to be picky, that you have to customize your resume, and then you have to think about, okay, when do I give notice? Do I want to take a week off in between? Or maybe 2 weeks. So then you're looking already at 4 weeks, which is a month technically. So the time adds up, and you really have to plan it and start early. Because in the end, you never know when the right job offer comes along, and you want to be ready for it. So I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I really appreciate it. And then I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.